What makes good people sometimes do bad things? Is it some psychopathic, sadistic tendency which is latent that emerges? Or is it that ordinary good people could be seduced to doing terrible things by powerful situational forces?
We have no fear of action.
He paid college students $15 a day to role play as prisoners and guards in a make-believe jail run out of the basement of the Stanford Psychology Department. Prisoners were given new identities by number instead of name. Rick Yacco was a broadcasting major.
I still remember my own number after all these years. It was 1037.
Prisoner 8612.
The prisoner group was forced to wear loose smocks, no underwear, and tight-fitting pantyhose caps to simulate shaven heads. The group acting as guards dressed in khaki uniforms and mirrored sunglasses. They were armed with nightsticks. 18-year-old Dave Eshelman decides to take on the role of an aggressive and intimidating guard.
It was my impression that it was kind of boring. Nothing was really happening. So in my 18-year-old brain, I thought it would be a good thing if I were to force the action.
Now, there's a couple ways that we can do this.
A couple of nights before, I had watched a Paul Newman movie called Cool Hand Luke, and they had this great character in there that was the warden.
I can be a good guy, or I can be one real mean son of a bitch.
It's all up to you.
It's all up to you.
To everyone's surprise, the rest of the guards followed his lead and started harassing the prisoners, waking them up at night and forcing them to do counts for punishment.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14.
Prisoners started calling me John Wayne. I objected to that nickname because, that was not the character I was playing.
Doug Corpy was one of the prisoners.
They would come out and tell us to do exercise. We would say, and if we don't?
But within 24 hours, the prisoners, led by Corpy, launched a full-scale rebellion.
They ripped off their numbers, they took up their stocking cap, they barricaded themselves in the cell, and they started taunting the guards and cursing the guards.
The guards retaliated, escalating the abuse, forcing prisoners to exercise constantly and depriving them of food, sleep, and bathroom rights.
They took our clothes off, they took the cots out, and then they took the bicycle chains that were on our feet, and they chained us together, naked.
Since Zimbardo's ground rules clearly prohibited the use of physical violence, the guards invented a degrading series of psychological humiliations.
You be the bride of Frankenstein, and you be Frankenstein. I want you to walk over here like Frankenstein and say that you love to a man.
Anything I could find that, would humiliate them in some way.
Get up close. Get up
That
close.
would try to break down any solidarity they had with each other.
You're smiling too nicely. You get down here and do 10 push-ups.
Then the guards forced the prisoners to shame a rebel into submission.
Prisoner 819 did a bad thing. Prisoner 819 did a bad thing.
Prisoner 819 began weeping uncontrollably. Two of the prisoners told Zimbardo they were suffering from severe trauma and were removed from the experiment early. One of those prisoners was Doug Corpy.
God damn it! Doug! You don't know! God! Jesus Christ, I'm burning up inside, don't you know?
All I would have had to say to Phil is, Phil, let me out now or I'll sue your ass. Why didn't I think of that?
In less than a week, 4 of the students were released after having emotional breakdowns. Zimbardo decided to terminate the experiment.
The Stanford prison study is clearly thought of as one of the most unethical studies ever done because kids suffered. They suffered day after day after day, and it got worse and worse. And we should have ended it sooner.
Even without the orders of Milgram's authority figure, the subjects in the Stanford prison experiment lost their moral compass. They began to act in morally questionable ways because of the power of the situation.
I was able to set an agenda that was really evil, and yet nobody questioned it and nobody stopped it.
Now what would it be?
You emerge as something alien to yourself, that you become the bad apple. You are corrupted by the situation.